Welcome back. So we're going to have a chat with my good friend Darcy Evans.
How are you, John?
Good to see you, Darcy.
Likewise, mate. That's very nervous about seeing you, John. I've known you for a long time, mate. I'm very nervous. I'm on this side now, rather I'm on that side, but now I'm on this side.
Yeah, I know. Darcy does his own show as well. Give it a plug, mate. Give it a plug.
The Adelaide Footy Pub Tour we do, so we do all things amateur league. We promote amateur league, which apparently is a bit strange for some group up there at 30 Oval, so we promote it. But we do that every Monday night, upload on Thursday, just to do the rounds and obviously give it a bit of a plug. So
we found the same thing with those at 30 Oval, that it was a bit strange us promoting the amateur league. But anyway, all right, Darcy, I'm going to give you some questions. Look out, you were
showing nervous, John.
You should be nervous. I'm actually, your in-laws will be coming in here on a Monday night, and I've been having a chat. So I'm hoping up to that tonight. So, Matty, when did it all begin for you, your footy journey?
My footy journey? Well, actually in 1973, John, at Banksy Park Primary School. I'm actually a Teacher Gully boy, or from Banksy Park. So. Yeah. And then went to PAC, so I played all the, obviously, junior high school football there to first 18, then West Torrens.
Yep.
Then
Was that before the merger, West Torrens?
That was before the merger, yeah, definitely. It's the true eagle, I say, but I don't say that anymore, boys, because it is the merger currently now. So.
You're on the water.
That's right. So, and of course, Flinders Park before we go, where I met the great man next to me.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, well, it goes back a while. I played down there 6 years and then went back down and played another 6 years.
You did?
So, mate, you have the reputation of playing, umpiring, coaching and serving on boards. What keeps you going?
Yeah, John, I just love it. I mean, it does come part of your life. I think you play the game, you love the game because your mates are out there, that camaraderie, that change room love that you have, not love, but you throw take your mate and that sort of stuff and have a beer after the game. And then it gets to a stage where you get a bit old, John, and the numbers on their back and chase get smaller and smaller. So okay, well that's me for football, and then I still want to stay in the game. So I went umpired for 10 years, and how I was pretty friendly with umpires, John. I probably remember that. And then obviously then I'm back. I thought, well, I gave up umpiring. I thought, well, what can I do now? And obviously my in-laws, as we just mentioned before, they're life members at West Torrens, and I obviously played there many years ago, so I thought we'll get on the board, and here I am 6 years later. I love every minute of it. So it's just, and you've got to have obviously family around you. My wife Karen, as you know, she loves football. My children love the football as well. She's a life member at Flinders Park, Karen as well. So
she should be.
That's right. So it's all a family atmosphere as well.
So I won't dob anyone in, but Ian Thornton told me that your daughter goes better than you. I'd never dob Ian in. Good man, Ian Thornton. He'll love that.
He would, Ian Thornton would. It was just one of those times where I think we heard Williams, the Crows player, the female Crows player. Is it Williams? Phillips, sorry.
Phillips.
Yeah, so she obviously, her dad said, what is it like having daughters? They'll never be able to play football, but blow me down now. We've got women's football which is growing right there, and my daughter Madison is at Flinders Park, and she's actually loving it. So it is. It's a new market, and they're loving it. So Madison loves it.
Good, that's good. Yeah, Aaron Phillips, I remember when back in the days working with Rod Hill, Rod.
Yes.
And Henley, when Rod and I played good cop, bad cop. Aaron was playing for Westlakes under 15s, and she went on right back then.
No, she did.
She was just a natural athlete.
And she was best and fairest when she was playing with the boys. So and it's great that they have a females league now.
It is. Yeah. It is. I love it. I actually went to the SANFL grand final after my beloved Tigers smashed Port. My partner Margaret came with me and it absolutely bucketed down, but it was great. It was good to see that. Yeah. All right, mate, next one. So we played together at Flinders Park, as everyone said, for 7 years. I rucked, you rode.
But no, we called ourselves the best ruck-rubbing combination. We only said that. It was Morris to Evans the left boot down to the full forward line, and
in our eyes we were. No one else agrees with that, but we did.
We did very well.
And we had a lot of fun.
Combination.
We had a lot of fun. We drank a lot of alcohol.
The bar should have taken over very nicely.
I shouldn't say.
The alcohol responsibility, the blood.
Absolutely, drink responsibly, yeah. But you're an ex-PAC boy, so was the lure of the Royal Scholars ever an attraction for you?
Well, it was, John. Funny you say that, because I did actually play for PAC the year I left West Torrens. So I went out there for 1 year, you don't really know that. So I went out there, obviously, your mates, and the school. And the issue was that, John, that they didn't have club rooms to go back to. So we trained on that Park 9, which is across the road from old Channel 10. And when they finish training on Thursday night, they just go home. And then even on Saturday night, they go back to a hotel. So those 2 nights I was actually going down to Flinders Park anyway, because all my mates were down there. So I thought, oh well. And then obviously after 12 months, I'm not really connecting, because obviously everyone went home and doing it different ways. But I went to Flinders Park, and a few of the boys had a chat, said come out. So history's ever since.
I must admit, when I first left Flinders Park on my way back down there, I went to CBC for half a year. And great club, great
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, did you? Yeah, great club, great people. But I struggled with that. You know, like training, then going back to a hotel Thursday night,
Yeah, that's right.
and then back to a hotel Saturday, and then Sunday morning training because I was still playing the B grade out there. They only had the two sides though. And I did struggle with that concept of not having a club, having been brought up at Henley and
Absolutely.
as part where it was.
You train, you go in the club room straight after. Yeah, absolutely.
Play, have a drink with the opposition players, and away game, and you're back home.
I did like that camaraderie of it. So it's, it's like, I was not saying taking one against PAC, but I think just that camaraderie and mateship's a bit closer there. And look, they were in Flinders Park, very successful club as well, and loved every minute of it.
PAC are doing really, really well.
They are, and Div 1, they certainly are.
Yeah. So you recently attended 150th year celebration. I saw that on Facebook.
You do your research well, Johnny, I tell you.
It looked like it was a great night.
It was.
Who were some of the people that you went to school with that are Lebanese now?
Yeah, so in my year there was Craig Kelly, they went up playing for Collingwood, and then grand final, and Rodney Maynard,
Craig Kelly's son's now.
He did, yes. Rodney Maynard, he
coached Rodney in the Mallee League. Good bloke. Great bloke.
Is that right?
Yeah, he was coaching Lamaroo, I was coaching Peak, and he'd do anything for that league.
Oh, absolutely.
He'd play, have a few bills and still run home. Yeah, umpires. Umpires now. Great man.
Yeah.
Great man.
So there's Rodney Maynard, who played the Crows, and then there's Rob Ville that played at Sturt, well over 100 games at Sturt.
Yes.
I had a few players like the Russell boys, the Kim and Scott Russell, who played for Sturt. I think Scott played. Yeah, they were Scott in the Collingwood, that grand final. Yeah. So those sort of players are in there, but not many others in my year that were very well known in the sporting world.
And a great school. A lot of them are Norwood boys too.
Craig Kelly and Rodney Maynard were.
Yeah.
Tim Wicks as well, he's a Norwood boy.
Norwood boy, Tim Wicks.
He was, and his lad is now at PAC Ozsports.
Okay, fantastic. So you work in finance, you're married to Karen, who you met at Flinders Park.
Small world.
You have two daughters, you run your own show, they're on the board of the Eagles in the SANFL. So what do you do for fun? When do you get time?
I suppose, Johnny, everyone asks me, I said, that's my fun. I love going to the Eagles, I love watching the game, I love socialising there and getting involved, and then obviously I watch my daughters play netball on Saturdays, and Madison plays football on Saturday nights. And just really, that is my fun. So I love it to death. Working, it's good when you work, you work hard, but then you go out and socialise and watch your daughters grow up, and because they're 21 and 19 now, so they're not getting any younger. And so that is my life actually. I love it. Love every minute of it.
Okay, so just on Karen, happy 50th for the other week, Karen.
Yes, last Friday.
Great to see romance not being dead. You actually took it to the Eagles bistro for how'd that go?
I had a few phone calls from a few of the husbands and boyfriends saying, "Das, would you stop setting that bar high? I mean, the higher you keep setting this bar to take your daughters to the Woodville Footy Club for a snooty and chips, we look silly." So, but mate, John, we're just going to take your wife and that for their 50th and have a snooty and chips for $15. So
this is a very, very
you probably saw the comments on Facebook too. Oh, Das, you just
Well, I was disappointed about that because I mean you did give her a Guernsey and the Guernsey was cold, so what's wrong with that woman? Both of my ex-wives would have thrown at that. That's still there. You knew one of them, didn't you?
Yes, I did. The first one. Yes, please.
Yeah. All right, talking a bit serious, rather than fun, something serious.
Yes, that's why I'm now worried now.
Yeah, the Mark Wickham 24-hour ride was fun. He participated in that. Mark Wickham, don't care what anyone says, legend of the sport,
absolutely.
Legend of AFL, legend of SANFL. How did that come about? I mean, I know you're on the board of the Eagles, and I know he coached at the Eagles.
Yeah, that was basically it. So I think, John, that's, as you know, being involved in sport and clubs, that when something like this does happen, all the clubs in football, whether it's netball, they all get together, they sport. I mean, on Saturday, we're in enemies, no doubt about that. But once something like this happens, we all get together as a community and raise money for, like Mark Mick and it was. So, and I think because he did coach at Eagles in early 90s, 94, 95, I think it was. We decided to put in a team, and then obviously it was West Adelaide, there's the Crows, I think Port Power did, and then there was obviously Parkinson's group put in. So there's about 10 teams, and so we put in a team, and he was going to be one of the nicest guys around. But he's just, it wasn't about him that 24 hours, it was about Parkinson's. That he kept saying that it's not about me, it's about raising awareness for Parkinson's. That's the sort of guy he is. He's just this mild-mannered, very softly spoken sort of guy. You'd don't expect that from a footballer that he was the best but fairest winner of the Crows. To be the softly spoken guy that's all about everyone else. And I think he had tears in your eyes, you just seeing what he was and where he is. But no, we raised a lot of money, and you probably saw me a bit on the current affair. So there was, because obviously I was next to, there was Wangley next to me, there was Andrew Jarman, and then there was coach of Essendon next to him. There's
Sheedy.
was next to him.
So hang on. So Wagner then Jarman, Sheedy. So a couple of Brownlows, a couple of the
That's right.
And you.
And yeah, so I'm sort of riding, because it was an hour. I was on there an hour and 20 because the people before me had to leave early. So the media went to Sheedy, then they went to Jarman, then they went to Wangan, and they started walking away. So I said, hey, hang on guys, what about me? Don't you know who I am? So the good old Mark Mickey said, hey, I love this bloke. So he come up and put an arm around me, the camera's got on me. So that's the sort of, again, that's what sort of Mark is. But is I think a well-deserved and mate, the guy he was.
So just for the people that didn't see it, they set up a whole lot of exercise bikes at Adelaide.
Yes.
On a 24-hour.
Yep, that's right.
So how many hours did you actually ride?
So each rode for an hour. So everyone rode for an hour. So people got the graveyard shift between obviously midnight and 6 or 7 o'clock that morning. I got the 10 o'clock Friday, which was good. But 1 hour each. So we had board members with a lot of players on there, a lot of board members, players and other staff members. So and I think the same with the other clubs. So it's really. So it was hard work, but people say it was the hardest of course it was, but nothing like what Mark Nickens got at the moment.
So you've got to give credit to the ex-West Adelaide player Bernie Collin, who renovated his house while he was in Melbourne.
He did, yes, I saw that.
Amazing, and hats off to West Adelaide for the club and people like Bernie doing all that for Mark Nickens, because as I said earlier, he's a legend of the game. As a Glenelg supporter, I was really disappointed when he left Glenelg as a coach, because I thought he was on the right path, and I think Glenelg went backwards a little bit after that. And then he got his premiership with West Adelaide, which you'd be happy with, Mr. being a West Adelaide supporter.
Yeah.
All right.
As I said, John, that's the beauty of football or any sporting community, that when someone's in trouble like that, you see it in country leagues, if someone has cancer, they all get together, they rally behind, regardless of what club they're in, and they really support each other. That's the best thing. We get involved in sport. Yep.
All right. So, given you coached Nick Pesh pretty recently, and one of the Hollands was in that under 16 premiership.
Dutchy Holland he was.
Dutchy Holland,
yes, he was.
At Fuller's Park. What's your favourite football moment?
Favourite football moment?
Apart from watching me,
Well, there's a few. There's probably I played the Unicole, obviously with PAC and St Peter's, which is a tradition between the two schools. But I played a lot of finals at Fuller's Park. I coached in 2 finals myself. I took the team from bottom to top, knocked out straight sets. Coached the next year, finished top, knocked out straight sets. So that's why I claim to fame in coaching. But it's still very enjoyable playing finals. But the best one was probably you remember Wayne Macro, of course, playing his 300th game.
Yes.
So a few of us old blokes started to decide to stay on and play for a couple of years for Wayne. Obviously, he's a legend of the club. He's very loyal to the club. He certainly keeps the bar tab ticking over it as well. So
still nothing to change.
No, exactly. So we played this 300 game, and we thought, okay, let's get right behind. We were sitting 8th. We weren't having a good year, and then we were playing Goody Saints who were top. I think by the time we'd run out on that ground, no team was going to beat us. We played for Wayne Macro that day, and I tell you, it was one of the greatest games I've ever played. And the crowd was huge because of who Wayne Macro is as part of the club. And we won that day by 2 goals, and it was just a celebration of all, and just to be part of that. And like Chrissy White was standing with a guy that played league football like 4 weeks beforehand and killed him. So that was the sort of thing we did for that day for Wayne Macro. And he went on to play, only the 4th player to play 400 games too. Brian Parker and a couple other players.
Good man, Eric.
Yeah,
coached both of us.
He did.
Both of us
too.
In the CD grade. Fantastic. All right, so you're a passionate Carlton supporter as well as a passionate Eagles supporter. You would have been nice and happy Saturday.
Yes, indeed.
I was just thankful I was at Commonwealth to watch the beloved Tigers. Who's your favourite Eagles or Carlton player?
You can't take a Cooney. I think as a leader, both as a player and a leader, I think I like the leaders as well as being a good player. Like he stepped up when the time had come. And the Eagles player, you say? Yeah. Look, Andrew Payes. He was a mate of mine back at Eagles, and he wanted bigger, better things for the Crows, etc. But Andrew Payes by a mile. Again, as a leader and what he gave back to the club, I think he was a club man through and through. He stayed loyal. I think he had a chance to go into state, he didn't. Stayed loyal and by far one of the best wingmen.
Played school footy against Coonahan. There was one difference. He had ability.
Yes.
And your all-time favourite player by the sound of that, Payes?
Andrew Payes, yeah, absolutely.
And he's a good guy, Payes.
He's a great guy. I still catch up very regularly when he goes to football. Obviously, being an Eagles boy, he comes in and we interviewed him last year, and he's a great bloke.
Go to a break. Sorry, Darren, we'll go to a break. And when we come back, we'll continue this journey. Fantastic, isn't it?
Looking for a fun night out with friends? Want to enjoy a delicious meal with your family members or loved ones? Head on down to 722 Port Road, Beverley. Join us for happy hour every day. Check out the live sports action on the big screen or try your luck on one of our 40 gaming machines. Then settle in for a casual meal, including pizzas, burgers, pasta, or our famous steaks and schnitties. We've got great specials every day and we're open for lunch. 722 is also the perfect spot for meetings and functions, featuring AV equipment and customised catering. Drop in and see us at 722 Port Road, Beverley, or check us out online.
Back to 722.
Thanks
This is
for our break.
Soundouts after our break, and still with Darcy here. We've got a couple more questions to ask. Up and finished. Do you want to stay on to the show a minute or not?
Oh, why not?
Fantastic.
My family's at my niece's birthday, the 6th birthday party, so I thought, yeah, why not?
Do you want to avoid?
Yeah.
So that'd
Maybe down there, I was about 50 down.
That'd be your sister's daughter.
Sorry?
That'd be your sister's daughter?
Karen's sister's...
Karen's sister.
Karen's sister's daughter's...
Karen's sister.
Great niece.
Oh, great niece. Okay, which one of Karen's sisters?
Tracy.
Tracy. Tell Tracy I said hello.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, down there, there's 100 of them. 8 sisters and 28 grandsons.
Can't keep up. Can't keep up. Okay, so you're on the panel that appointed Sam Lorigan as the new Eagles coach, and he's on the right path. You can see that with the way
No doubt. He's just one awesome coach. He's Michael Godden was absolutely brilliant. He's taken over. I think for a guy that's he's only young, he's only just out of the game from Essendon. Played a few games in Richmond, so he knows his stuff. I think he's just getting a new game plan ready. Obviously, had a couple of losses, but I think the players are right behind him, and seriously, he's getting things going at the Eagles.
Given that there's 3 coaching jobs at the moment up for grabs in the AFL, and they'll do a clean out with their assistants.
Yeah.
How hard is it for SANFL clubs? I mean, you're on the board of the Eagles to keep good people like Sam. I know you've got a contract in place.
Yeah, correct, John. I think that is the biggest issue. We've seen it with, I won't say the mention name, but the Nord coach a few years ago. They come in, it's more like a stepping stone for AFL. So we've got it really hard to say, okay, if you want to be in SANFL, we need you for at least 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Because obviously, if you're only here for 1 year to get a grand final, get the finals to get on your resume, that's not going to work for us. So that is the hardest thing for all SANFL clubs at the moment, to try and keep the coach there for a few years.
I mean, I know with Mark Scott at Cologne, he's doing a magnificent job as well. Yes, I'm going to be biased, but like when Matthew Lockett moved on to the Port Magpies at the start of last year, I mean, you listen to Nick Chidwin, the president of Cologne, he said Lockett did it all right, kept him in the loop, but it was actually in his contract. If an AFL job came up, and he got it, they would release it.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, it is a stepping stone, but it is getting difficult,
Very, very. They're no long term. I mean, Michael Godden was there 9 years, which is probably the longest. It's very unusual, and congratulations to going to Crows. I think he thoroughly deserved after 9 years at the Eagles, but that is the problem with SANFL at the moment. Yeah. Or any, maybe VFL as well, but you need there to stay at least 4 or 5 years.
Very interesting to see who takes over from Roy Ledley.
That's exactly right.
And what kind of coach they get, because I mean, as you've seen, because I mean, we were at Elizabeth the same day when my young man Zane made his reserves debut. They've got some really good young kids out there.
I mean, probably Thomas is probably the clear favourite at the moment, but he's an assistant coach at Port Adelaide now. You don't hope that's a stepping stone for AFL for Thomas. It may not, because obviously he's a legend of Central Districts, no doubt. His dad played out there as well.
Played against his dad.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. We played state footy there.
Yeah. So it is hard, but look, I think like Sam Lorigan, he'll be around long, hopefully definitely a few more years. I think he's just got the young players coming through as well. So he's Cooper Gaffney and the Gaffney boys are coming through very young, eager and fit and hungry. And
your under 18s after winning it last year top again?
They are. They're doing very well.
Chesty's done a great job with them.
Chesty, I think we've got one of the best junior programs. That's why we've been successful so long in Chesty and co. They're great. Darren Hams, he's our obviously centre of excellence manager. So it's, I think the way that they do that with boys at Clare Valley, they're our zone out there as well, so they do very good.
I don't know whether you know, but I'm going to claim this one. I actually coached Vinny Regolo. That's what makes him such a good big guy.
And the reserves coach, indeed. No, he's a great guy. He's passionate, Vinny.
Yeah, he's passionate.
Yeah.
Okay, and finally for you.
It's been easy actually, John. I thought you were.
You know that I go, now I'm not involved with Woody South and I don't have a club, although I'm probably putting my hand in the ring for a couple of coaching jobs to get next year.
Yep.
Passionate about the SANFL, always have been. Go and watch most weeks. I was at the Bay on Saturday to see what was probably the best game of SANFL footy I've seen for a long time between the Logan and the Crows. The pressure was just immense.
Yeah.
Is the SANFL model sustainable? Now, I'll couch that by saying I'm in the minority who I genuinely believe having Adelaide and Port in the SANFL is healthier, having a 10-10 comp is healthier.
10-10
more of a club.
Yeah, well, it's certainly sustainable. There's no, I think it is growing, it's coming back again, if that makes sense. I think AFL was...
It's like 5,500 people. I know every bet's played.
No,
there was 5,500 people.
Yeah. And then we've got like Sturt get 4,000s, and the Eagles we're growing each year. I think we had 3,000 there last Sunday. So it is. I think it took its hit, but then I think it's growing. I think AFL probably they're probably making a few silly changes to the game. It's not quite right for the spectators. So I think a lot are coming back out to watch SANFL footy, which is good. The issue we have is obviously look quite right with Port and Crows. That I mean, obviously, just to give you one example, that the Eagles played yesterday, and obviously. What happens though today is that the Eagles boys will be on the tours at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And then the Crows boys will be covering a massage or probably like down to Henley having a recovery session. So that's what we're contending with at the moment. Is that sustainable? Look, it probably is, because obviously as soon as the Crows get a few injuries, it becomes more competitive for both sides then. But it's certainly SANFL, there was a long-term plan in place, which we've seen. I can't obviously give much more, but certainly long-term plan to keep it sustainable. It has taken a hit, but I think it's all coming back now. So.
See, I look at it, I remember like you listen to, and I said this on the show last week as well, you listen to people like Graham Corns and Glenn Ross, who coach at SANFL level, and like, you know, Cornsy would go, hey, Darcy, you're going back to Glenelg this week, and I want you to play centre forward. Then he ring up John Lawrence, the Glenelg coach, and go, hey, look, Darcy Evans coming back, I need you to play centre forward. And John Lawrence goes, well, hang on.
No, correct.
My centre forward played 6 last week, get stuff.
Yeah.
I'll put him where I want to put him because I've got a job to do as well. Whereas my attitude is that with the two AFL clubs having their own reserves team, they can play wherever they like. You know, Sam Lonergan, for argument's sake, Mark Scott, you know, Roy Laird, they can focus on their group and their reserves group.
Correct.
And you had the other ridiculous situation in those days where there was a bye. So again, Darcy ever told we need you to play SANFL. Well, Glenelg's my club, they've got the bye, so you can get cleared to West Adelaide and play the reserves at West Adelaide for the week.
Yeah.
So this model now, I think, works for all those reasons. I understand, you know, I do get the professionals versus the amateurs, but I do think that it's healthy because, I mean, I look at Glenelg, like Glenelg went up and did another level on Saturday because they had to. And same with last week at Albion, they went up another level because they had to.
Yeah, but can you imagine, like, who played back pop for Canoe last week? He's got, oh, you got to play Nettie Bex tonight.
Yeah,
it's like,
thank
be, oh my God, this is amazing. Or be, oh,
well, thank you for a little bloke with name Aaron Joseph running around.
Yeah, but there's a few challenges, no doubt. I think we are working through that. It's got to make it SANFL sustainable, but obviously, when, as I said about like today, our boys will be on the tours at 7 o'clock. It's mostly the blue collars, and then they will go up and obviously massage, you know, recovery session. That we'll work through that. Obviously, Port SANFL did it, that they can't play that third side of the Port anymore. Down
which helps.
That has definitely helped. Exactly. Yeah.
All right, we're going to go to a break, so you're going to hang around.
Absolutely.
Darcy and I are going to talk AFL results on the weekend. Back soon.